Hello everybody, my name is Old Stefan. Welcome back to another episode of NASCAR 25 Career Mode. We are on episode 18 of the series, moving along, headed into the final race of the regular season for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series with our driver UISA. In the last episode, I believe we raced at IRP and had a little bit of a, let's just say a wild race, and then we raced at Watkins Glen and had a little bit of a less chaotic race, but still kind of a little bit of argy-bargy, to use an Australian term or British term, I don't really know. But we're headed into Richmond, which is a track that we've won at in the past in the ARCA Menards series. Obviously, the trucks and ARCA cars drive pretty differently from each other, so it's not going to be that crazy of a comparison. But I do still believe that we're going to have a pretty good run, or at least I did headed into this race, potentially staring down the barrel at yet another victory on the season. But what I noticed immediately in practice is that we weren't super fast, but the truck was able to get through the corners, which I did appreciate. You know, it gets a little bit loose on the power out of turn 4, which is where I lose most of the time on my laps, or at least that's what I thought. So in the neutral setup, it was still a little bit loose, but I didn't want to go tight because I felt like that would just make me go straight through the corner. So we had into qualifying with that in mind. Headed back to 2 laps of qualifying. And lap 1 is looking pretty good up until about midway through turn 3, and the back end starts kicking out on me a little bit. Still our best lap of either session.
That's a top
Got
10.
into the wall on the second lap, didn't show it because
Solid
it was pretty embarrassing.
Good job.
But we qualified top 10 regardless. And Corey Heim on the pole. What else is new?
Get her started now. Time to go.
And we will be racing the posthumous Kyle Busch throughout the entirety of this season. Just want to give a quick shout out to that. When I was gone
green.
during the Charlotte weekend and everything, I didn't really have a chance to process it, but it is pretty crazy that Kyle Busch is gone. One of the drivers that I really looked up to and watched a lot when I was younger. Didn't always like his driving style, that's for sure, but you know, I can respect that he is probably one of the greatest to ever do it. And Jake Garcia giving us a nice little block down the front stretch there, chopping the nose off our JBL number 78 machine. As we head down into 1 and 2. Already made up 1 position, but Daniel Hemrick looking to take it back as we head down the back straightaway. The AI getting a little racy as we bang off the door of the number 19. I just kind of drive through his teammate there a little bit.
Clear low if you want it.
Truck obviously not turning as well as I want it to, but that level 6 engine is really helping me down the straightaways, especially in the front stretch. We're able to make up a lot of ground, and in 1 and 2 we're just a little bit quicker through the center, and we're able to pass 2 trucks down there, and just like that, we're fighting for a spot inside the top 5. But once again, the 19 truck trying to make it 3 wide on the bottom, but we clear off of turn 4, at least on the bottom side. The top side, not so much. 13 trucks still trying to send it in on my top, despite being way quicker in the middle. And just like that, we're battling with Kyle Busch down to the inside of the 7 truck, and pushing him up just a little bit through the center of the corner.
Stay low.
We come off of turn number 4, just a little bit ahead of the 7 truck.
Clear outside.
We clear into the 4th spot. Staring down a potential podium finish in the stage, as long as everything goes my way, which it hasn't a lot in the past, especially these past couple of races have just not gone my way. But regardless, we're catching up to the 3rd place truck, Chandler Smith, fairly quickly.
2 to go this time.
Corey Heim running away with the stage victory, which, you know, we're ahead of him in terms of playoff points, but still, it's not fun to see your main championship rival just shooting off into the distance while your truck is a little bit loose. I'm definitely dreading Phoenix, because winning that race is probably going to be a must based on how fast Corey Heim has been at every single race, and
White flag,
finishing
keep it up.
third is not going to cut it. So we're going to have to buy level 6 parts just for that race, probably. But headed on to the final lap here,
Clear
we're
bottom.
as close as we've ever been to the third position on Chandler Smith, cut to the
Outside
bottom,
now.
down into 3 and 4, up the inside of the 38 truck, side by
Clear
side,
up top.
and
One outside.
get a little bit loose. I thought I wasn't going to get him off the corner, but luckily
Top 5
the
in the
level
stage.
6
That's
parts
good for
prevail,
some
and we
point.
managed to take home a third
look good to you,
in
driver?
the stage, and we will do our pit strategy that has seemed to work out really well for us, trying to secure that
Pitting now, fellas. Here we
regular
come.
season championship.
There's the green flag. Inside door.
And despite how much it seems like we've been dominating this year, Corey Hyman's been right there with us, and it's actually pretty close.
Outside door.
It's definitely not
Three wide.
triple digits, the points
Clear
lead I
inside.
had on Corey Heim. In fact, it's probably
Clear
a
inside.
quarter of that. Quarter of 100. I didn't actually
Outside
check
now.
before I went into this, but, it is fine. We're 3 wide ahead of us.
One outside.
And right here, as you can see, down the straightaways, once again, the tires
One
don't
up
really
high.
matter, but you can
Four
really
outside.
tell down into the corners that
3 wide.
the tires
4
are
wide.
a
One
factor.
on the bottom. Clear inside. Car
Get to the
high.
inside of the 26
One
truck of
inside.
Dawson Sutton, up the
3
middle
wide.
of Frankie Muniz getting stuck behind Steven Malazzi in the 23 truck.
Clear low if you want it. Car high.
Side by side, still 3 wide. Frankie Muniz trying to send it in there on the
3 wide.
bottom.
Car
And I'm having
outside.
a lot more difficulty getting through this pack than I want.
Car outside.
Frankie Muniz just
3
kind of
wide.
driving in like I'm not there.
Outside door.
A lot of trucks do
3
that,
wide.
but it makes it
4
fun.
wide.
You can fight
3 wide.
with the AI a little bit for
Outside
track
now.
position sometimes. We got Lawless Allen in this race, Flawless Allen, if you want to call it
Car
that.
outside.
And right there,
Clear up top.
once again, I just
clear.
got the whole lane to myself,
One on
and
the
then
bottom.
Andres Perez de Lara just decides to drive me right
low.
down the racetrack and onto the apron. Not very nice from a guy who claimed to be
outside.
my friend at the start of the season.
3 wide.
But regardless, we go 3 wide, and we're almost breaking
Clear.
into the top 10
Clear outside.
with over 10 laps to go in the stage.
Clear
As we
outside.
cut to the top side
Car
of
low.
lane rigs. That was more of a getting tight, or getting loose off the corner, I should say, and pushing
Inside.
up the track.
Clear bottom.
As Gio Ruggiero decides to just park it right in my grill.
One outside.
We almost brake check the 81 truck trying to come down the racetrack and
Car
pass him.
outside.
We get to the bottom of the 34 and the 52, and Stewart just decides
Car
to cut
outside.
off the nose despite me
3
being
wide.
there. And I said, no thank you, get out of my way. Don't need that in my
Clear outside.
race. And obviously that didn't make Stewart too happy with me after it, but I was there, so he can suck it.
One
And we get to the
outside.
bottom of lane rigs, trying to send it 3 wide on the bottom
Car
of him and Rajat Taruth, who's having a pretty good night up
Clear high
inside the
if you
top
want it.
10. Obviously,
One
he's
bottom.
already locked into the playoffs, but hasn't had the greatest season of all time. We get to the inside of
Outside now.
Tamajeski up the
Clear low
middle,
if you want it. Clear
down to
outside.
the bottom, and we clear for the 6th spot with 10 laps to go at the line.
10 to go this time.
And it's looking pretty good
One
for
on the
us. We
bottom.
only got 5 more
Clear
trucks
low.
to pass, that being 4 now. And then we have yet another Stage 2 victory
Clear
in the bank.
inside.
I got to check what percentage of
Inside
my
now.
stage victories
Clear
this year are in Stage 2, because it's got to be a lot.
One
It's got to
high.
be at least 75%, if not more. Because I know I only have
Clear
one
high.
stage sweep, and I doubt I've won any more stage 1s than at Charlotte.
Inside.
So, but yeah, coming back to the 8 to go mark in stage 2, and we're already battling
inside.
for the lead and taking the lead
outside.
away from Corey Hine.
Out front, nice job. Clear high if you want it.
And once again, because of stage racing, you can really take advantage of fresh rubber in stage 2 and then be even with them on 25% race length. Because
One half
everybody
stage,
pits
there's 10
usually in
points.
stage 3, so then you just have way better tires than everybody else
If
for
you
stage
pit, here's
2,
the
win
changes
this
we're
stage,
making.
and then
Let
you
us
have
know
track
if you wanna
position for
switch 'em
stage
up.
3. That's like a cheat code, basically, as long as you can get through everybody in stage 2. But we do pit. I always take 0.5 of a can in stage, or I always
we come,
take
fellas,
2
be ready.
cans in stage 2 just in
Go,
case
go, go. We're
I
outside.
don't make it all the way through the field, but really it doesn't matter. Especially on 25% race length in the truck series. I'm sure it's going to be different once we get to the Cup
just
series
lost the
and we
lead.
actually start getting a lot
Stay
of laps
low.
in. We might have to
We're
go
out
back
front,
to
driver.
doing green flag
Clear all around.
pit stops, but at this point, it's fine. Got the 38 truck up behind us, trying to keep the lead, but the truck is just not handling as well as I needed to. I have to back up the corner a lot in order to get turned through the center of 3 and 4.
Inside now.
But, you know, these aren't the worst turning lows I've ever dealt with. The truck is still fast on the straightaway, so I can make up a bit of time, and I can hold a couple of the drivers behind me, but it's just the really fast guys like Chandler Smith and Corey Heim, who I'm not able to hold off in the slightest, and they get by me. But I'm able to hold on to 3rd position for quite a while. Ty Majeski behind me in the 98 truck has actually made his way from 6th, I think, all the way to 4th, and looking for another position on me, which I'm going to make it really easy for him as I clip the apron in the middle of 1 and 2 and go straight into the wall, completely back up the 98 truck. And I'm trying to block the bottom here, but once again, it's really hard to stick the bottom and 3 and 4 for me for some reason.
Clear low.
Luckily, we get the drive on the straightaway, but the next lap, not so lucky. Once again, having to back up the corner quite a lot, and he manages to get to the inside of me as we head down the front stretch. And I tried to send it in pretty deep here into 1, but he sends it deeper and manages to clear me.
Inside door.
I was thinking about doing the crossover, but he parked it in the middle of the corner. I was not able to do that, and here we go on the inside of him. Slideways through 3 and 4, trying to make up that spot, and we're actually getting closer to the leaders now, so the truck is actually coming to me just a little bit, but with not a ton of time left. I guess 10 or so laps. Not a terrible amount of time, but regardless, I was not able to make up time on the leaders and ended up having to go on the defense on the worn tires against the 98 truck. And I tried to chop his nose off.
1 low.
And it did not really work for me. Got really loose through 1 and 2 on the high lane, and that allowed him to get to my inside. He goes through into 3rd. I tried to cross him over once again, but he just backs it up in the middle of the corner, and that was pretty much it for my run at 3rd position.
1 to go.
Get onto the white flag lap, and the 38 truck of Chandler Smith goes around hard into the outside wall.
Top 5, great finish.
And we take home yet another top 5, but I felt like it could have been a little bit more. You know, I felt like I could have finished at least in 3rd, but did not get that done. Raja Karuth with a top 10, not bad. Grant Enfinger as well has been really consistent. Connor Mosak in the top 15, Matt Gold in the top 20. Same for Parker Kligerman, a couple of good guys up there in the top 20. We get clean racing rep despite running through the 52 truck early in stage 2, I think that was. Maybe midway through stage 2. And there you see Stuart Friesen not too happy with me, unsurprisingly. But we managed to hold off Corey Heim and take home the Truck Series regular season championship, and obviously we locked into the playoffs with our 6 wins, I think, on the season. And even more top 5s, top 10s. And we actually don't come away with too much damage in that race, which is very nice. But we fix up our truck for the next race. Not 100% across the board, but still relatively good. And there you see our playoff standings headed into the first playoff race of the season. We're only ahead by... We beat Corey Heim by 4 points. 4 whole points, despite me having 2 more wins than him. So, there is your example. He has 1 more top 20 than me, and I'm pretty sure that was because of Atlanta, where I didn't get any points at all. And here is my tribute scheme to Kyle Busch, the Snickers Flame scheme. That was one of my first cars that I ever saw race on the track, I think. That was 2008, so I was just born, but I remember seeing clips of it on YouTube. Didn't do the greatest job, but once again, the paint booth in NASCAR 25 kind of sucks. I don't think I'm like crazy for saying that or anything, but it does really kind of suck. I wish it was more like Forza, but then again, you know, you get what you get and you don't get upset, especially for this thing of all things. Like, of all things that I want improved in this game, it's not the worst of all time. But we head into Darlington, which is actually a new track for us. I've never been to Darlington before in NASCAR 25, and the truck did not turn at all. like really, really, really tight through 3 and 4, and loose on exit of 2 for some reason. Like, it was really tight on entry to turn 1 and 2, but then on exit it was really loose. So I was just trying to find the balance. I was able to kind of get it a little bit better as the run went on, but at the end of the day, like, I still felt just bad. You know, at a lot of tracks, other than Atlanta this season, I've been able to sort of keep up with everybody, even if I didn't have the best truck of all time. But this was like the first race since maybe Homestead or Atlanta that I've been just feeling like crap every lap. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, okay, this is going to be another Homestead where I'm going to have to just sandbag the entire race and get the win on pit strategy. And even then, it's a little bit iffy on if I would be able to do it or not. But regardless, we get into the race. We are getting into qualifying, actually, and we qualify 14th, which, honestly, I was really happy with this because I ran a sim just before this for qualifying, and I got like 29th, which would have been just absolutely terrible, especially for a truck with nearly, I think, level 6 parts, like new level 6 parts. So we're trying to get one for KB, but it might not be the easiest thing of all time, I will say that. But regardless, we start in the 14th position, probably better than where we should have, to be honest. But we head through turns 1 and 2, already losing a little bit of ground to the guys ahead, but on the straightaway, it seems like the trucks really kind of push up and get into the outside wall. You'll see a lot of drivers do that. And here I was having to make most of my passes by leaning on guys. You can see I'm bouncing off the side of the 71 truck there. I will admit that I was very dirty during this race, but I felt like it was the only way that I was even able to catch up to these guys or keep up with them throughout the entire run. So you'll just have to bear with me through all of this just unskilled, dirty, running people into the wall driving. But once again, you know, it's a video game for kids. I'm not really feeling bad about running people into the wall, other than their AIs being like, oh, why'd you hit me after the race? But you'll see a long list of people after the race. I will promise you that. Well, we're fighting with our old foe, Ben Rhodes, the driver who we were fighting with in, I think it was Las Vegas at the beginning of the season, and ended up running into quite a few times and ended up turning him around. So trying to be nice and courteous here to him, but you'll see off the corner, it's just, I have to let off a lot. And normally, like through 3 and 4, because the track is kind of egg-shaped, as we got the 19 truck in the wall, bringing out the first caution of the day. Because the track is egg-shaped, the two corners turn a lot differently than each other. So you end up with a tight racetrack on one end of the racetrack and then a loose one on the other. That's just how it is at Darlington. But at the same time, like, feeling tight through both corners and then being loose on exit of one corner is just like, why? It's really annoying. And obviously the turn through the center is just terrible. In turn 1, I have to push up and every time, and if someone's on my outside, then I just run into them. Like, there's nothing I can really do. But regardless, enough complaining. I was thinking I could maybe get some stage points here as I try the crossover move on the 45 truck, put him into the wall on the exit. Don't give a shit. Caden Honeycutt's done worse at Martinsville. If you know, you know. And once again, just trying to slow Caden Honeycutt down as much as I can. And I tried to send it a little bit further into the corner that time, but I was not able to. And getting into the wall a little bit, that pretty much killed my chance of getting any points in stage 1, unfortunately. But I was still battling hard with Ben Rhodes back here just outside the top 10. Speaking of Ben Rhodes, he's just had a miserable season this year in trucks, like in reality. But he's still 7th in points. Like, I don't get that. I guess he's just been stacking up the stage points, but yeah, no, it's just been a bad season for him. For ThorSport in general, to be honest with you. Ty Majeski is usually pretty good, but they keep on bringing it up on the Fox broadcast. His performances have been like a heart rate monitor. They just are up and down and up and down and up and down. But we make it to the final lap of stage number 1, and once again, turn 1 is just my nemesis at this track, apparently. I have to back the corner way up, and that allows Ben Rhodes to slide around the outside of me, and at this point, I'm just on damage control. I'm like, I just want track position for stage 2, And I try to send it in one more time on Ben Rhodes. Almost make it stick without getting into him, but end up getting into him at the end. And I figure, why not try the pit strategy again? Obviously, they're not going to be too terrible on tires. Like, I made it to 75%, and I think theirs is only, like, 2% more than mine is. So they would be at, like, I don't know, like 70% or something like that. Like, it's not too bad, but still, 30% fresher tires than your opposition is still going to be beneficial in the long run, especially if you're trying to win a stage. So, once again, doing the win stage 2 strategy, trying to get a playoff point so that I can be sitting pretty headed into round 2 of the playoffs. Despite this run, I'm not really worried about my playoffs performance. You know, I got a couple of tracks that I know I can win at in the future coming up, especially Bristol. But you'll have to wait to the next episode to see Bristol. As we head to the inside of Clay Greenfield in the 94 truck. And we're running that ultra bottom line, the forbidden bottom line, as Clay Greenfield was trying to stick it up the outside and just keep it there on my door. But we managed to get by him finally. That was kind of annoying, if I'm being honest. But headed down into 1, you can see I'm on a tire advantage, and even then, I'm still pushing up into the guys above me. I feel so bad for them. But we head down the back straightaway, almost inside the top 25 now, behind the 33 truck of Frankie Muniz. We send it down the inside of him and clear into the 23rd spot. And we get to the bottom of Dawson Sutton, and I'm seeing the top 20 ahead of me. And I tried to go to the ultra bottom again, just to cut some of my losses, and I think it worked out pretty good. As we still get a run off of turn 2, down the back straightaway on Andres Perez de Lara. I always try to pronounce it right, you know. I love my pronunciations. As we just stuff the 2 trucks above me into the wall. Gio Ruggiero and I think that was Jake Garcia, maybe? I'm not sure. We get to the inside of Connor Mosak now, 3 wide into turn 1. Getting into the side of him again. That'll become a trend further on in the future. And our old buddy, Tanner Gray, we also put him in the wall because screw Tanner Gray, man. I don't care. I'll say it. Tanner Gray can go crash into a wall, and I would not care in the slightest. And that's not to say I want to see him injured or anything, but, you know, if he crashed, I would not care. If he crashed and he was fine, I would not care. As we get to the inside of Lane Riggs now, for the 3rd position. And once again, we got 5 laps to go here at Darlington in stage 2. And I see the run, and I take the run down the inside of the 2 Spire teammates. And we go through to the lead with 4.5 to go, I should say, in stage number 2. And we end up dominating the last portion of stage 2 and taking home the green and white checkered flag.
Does this pit strategy look good to you, driver?
And we will pit once again because everybody else is. And we take that track position once again. I was like, if I can just block the hell out of the guys behind me, I am sitting pretty for potentially a win here in the Kyle Busch Throwback Tribute Paint Scheme, whatever you want to call it. But we're alongside Josh Rayom, who pitted in stage 2 with me and ends up not pitting in stage 3 instead of just taking the track position for some reason. Or maybe he didn't pit in stage 2 and just decided to stay out. I don't know. Anyways, we are now fighting Kyle Larson for the lead, and I definitely do not mind blocking the shit out of Kyle Larson. If it was Kyle Busch, maybe I'd give him a little bit more leeway just to see him win another one, but Kyle Larson, once again, is another guy that if he crashed and was fine, I would not care at all. In fact, I would probably be pretty happy. But we block him down the back straightaway. Here comes the 34 Lane Riggs on the outside. And I gave him a little bit of room on my outside there, and he just shoots by. But we managed to clear into 3 and 4. But the 07 is going to get the run out of the corner once again. We cover it just a little bit down the front straightaway. And at this point, I'm like, I'm holding these guys back. I'm probably going to lose the lead at some point. You know, I can't block both lanes into one very well. And right here, the truck just goes up the racetrack just a little bit, and I get into the outside wall, drive down the racetrack, and get hooked on the side of the 07 and send him around. And that was a talentless move by me, to be honest, but regardless, you know, once again, I don't care, really. It's Kyle Larson, like, I don't care. He wins enough already. But at this point, I'm like, do I pit? It's a 50-50 decision, because if I don't pit, then I'm going to fall back to 10th on just, like, speed alone. If I do pit, I can make my way up to 10th, and I feel like passing trucks would be better than not passing trucks, you know what I mean? But I was relying on an early caution to keep the field stacked together, because, obviously, 5 laps, or not even 5 laps, like 3 laps fresher tires than everybody else is not going to matter that much. But I was trying really anything at this point to get myself a good driving race truck. And thanks to Josh Rayom, the entire second half of the field gets completely stacked up on the restart, and I'm able to make up a ton of ground on drivers that I probably wouldn't if not for that 22 truck. And you can see I'm able to just run by everybody on the bottom, and the top 20 or so are on an island at the front end of the field, all by themselves, and we still got, you know, how many laps is that? 7 laps or 8 laps to go? And I was thinking, I can probably catch up to these guys if there's no caution, but there is a caution, and the 88 truck ends up into the outside wall, and just like that, strategy out the window. It's gone. There's nothing I can do. Unfortunately, that was pretty much all she wrote for my winning chances. You know, 5 laps would have been a stretch to potentially go up and get the win, especially considering how big of a gap there was between me and the rest of the pack. But I still think that if there was a caution and I got up inside the top 10 with like 2 laps to go, I would have been able to win the race, but unfortunately it was not meant to be, and I'm just trying to salvage anything at this point, trying to get myself inside the top 10 and hold on to my points lead coming out of the day. But once again, you know, the 11 truck is probably up there somewhere. I am not looking the greatest, and I can in fact see him up there, but he's not doing the greatest of all time, so, you know, at least he's not winning the race while I'm back here dawdling around, honeydicking in the 11th position with 1.5 laps to go. We absolutely send it in on Caden Honeycutt, stuff him in the wall for the second time this race. Don't care, coming through, trying to get a top 10. We got Connor Mosak having a great run, honestly, in the 81 truck. He has been having a way better season than he did last year in the truck series in real life. But regardless, we got to end that streak for him. Just put him straight in the wall. Get absolutely hooked on the side of the 81 truck, and I stuff him in the wall again, trying to slow him down. Ultra Mega Send Kyle Larson 2023 on Sheldon Creed into the outside wall. There's no Noah Gregson, and it's not for the win, so we come home in the 8th position and somehow managed to salvage a top 10 out of that race. That was just a whole race of just bad decisions. But Lane Riggs takes home the victory. Cool for him. Kyle Larson 2nd, Ross Chastain 3rd. Grant Enfinger with another top 10, and Connor Mosak and Caden Honeycutt, who I was beating up the entire race, both still come home with top 10s. So, you know. And Timmy Hill, shout out to Timmy Hill for a top 15 in his 56 truck. I know he was really good at Darlington last year. And at Charlotte in real life this year, got to see him get another top 15 for his team, or top 20. And here's a couple of looks at a couple of the mistakes that I made throughout the race, and as you can see, that's me sending the 07 truck around off of turn 2. And then here's on board with me during the Matt Crafton spin and into the wall. I could not find a good angle in the cinematic camera of the Daniel Hemrick crash at the beginning or the 88 truck. It is what it is. And then here's me versus the 81 truck out of turn 2, coming up the racetrack, and shabam into the outside wall. Take my right rear quarter panel straight to the face. And then once again trying to slow him down. Diving it down into the corner. Slamming into the outside wall. Bouncing off of it. But we take home the checkered flag in the 8th position. Obviously lose a bit of clean racing rep, and You got about 6 people mad with me after the race. Not really surprising. 5 people, I should say. One of them's a reporter. And yeah, that's our 2 races in episode 18. I might start condensing the episodes into more races just because it's going to take me like a full year to go through Xfinity and Cup if I don't do that. So expect to see a little bit longer videos in the future. I know it's already 30 minutes, but I don't care. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy the content, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, do all that. My other channels are linked in the description below. And yeah, comment what games you want to see in the future. I might start going into a little bit different content in the future, so I hope you enjoy. And thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Peace.